What's that?
Remember what I tell you about the person that you can take inside the car.
What? What's up? So that lady I just picked up, she's 87 years old. She's about to turn 88. And I asked her, what is it like being 87, being single? Does it feel lonely? And she said she's not alone. She said her husband passed away about 16 years ago. And she said she loves her solitude. She loves being alone. And I said, do you ever worry about, people someone taking care of you? She's like, I hire someone to take care of me. I hire someone to clean up. So she's got everything she wants. I was like, so you don't want to be with another man? Just gonna see what she would say. She was like, no, which kind of really made me open my eyes. A lot of women nowadays, they like to be independent, and they're so used to being alone that even when they get old, that being alone is not an issue for them. Which a lot of men, they there's what you call it, a lot of men have to deal with the fact that how to convince women that not being alone is not good, that they need a man in their life. So one of the reasons why guys have issues with dating is because most women don't see any value, any need in having a man, and that's just how society is. But I thought that was really interesting, to think about it, how, you know, when you watch these videos of guys talk about how, yeah, you know what, all these Miss Independent, you're just gonna die alone with a cat, and a lot of guys, to think about it, a lot of guys kind of laugh and make fun of these women, and because this woman that's crying like, I just need to find a man because I'm turning 40 and my whole phase has went, those are my younger days and I'm ready to settle down, but there's also a lot of women that are independent, and that's not true. Like, it's not true that women are going to be old and miserable and dying alone with having a cat. There's actually women that I was talking to a friend of mine, said that sometimes whatever energy that you're used to being in, you tend to enjoy it. People that are always sad, they love the energy of just being sad and lonely. They like listen to sad songs, Sade, depressing songs, because that mood, it just makes them feel comfortable. Being in sad energy environment makes them feel comfortable. Being alone makes them feel comfortable. And you know, um, yeah, just another day of my thoughts as I was picking her up. I was like, oh, what can I do to make a video about this? Like the epiphany. So the epiphany is that not all men are lonely when they get old, when they're not in a relationship. I talked to another guy the other day. He said that his wife passed away. He's like in his 80s, and I said, don't you ever thought about being in a relationship? Because I've always wondered, when I get your age, how would it like being alone? He said, no, I love being alone. I'm sick and tired of like living with a woman. She's always nagging on me that I need to like um, you know, pick up after myself, pick up my socks. I'm at the age of my life, I want to live how I want to live. Another lady that I spoke with, she's like in her late 60s. I picked her up, this is a few months back, and she said the same thing. She was like, like, don't you want to, be in a relationship? She was like, no, I was married for years, and I love my freedom. I could live my life. You don't have to answer to no one. I guess when it comes to the conclusion that the women that are independent, they have money, they got their life set, they don't really care to have a man. But I think the women that are like struggling financially, that are need a helping hand, they really need a man. I think that's why a lot of guys, they like to go to like the Philippines or Thailand, because they're dependent, because third world countries, they need money. Guys like to go to Colombia because there are a lot, $100 you could live in that, rent a house in Colombia for $100 a month. So they see you as like someone that could save them from their poverty. So, just my thoughts. Peace.